Of course, we want to bring back Augustana political science professor, Dr. Paul Baumgardner. Professor, we still have several races left to decide this balance of power, but this is something that we have been talking about throughout the night. It is going to have a huge impact for whomever is the next president of the United States.
It absolutely is. A presidential candidate will go on the campaign trail and they will make a laundry list of promises, things that they want to accomplish. And wouldn't you know, so many of them require legislative assistance, right? Because lawmakers are the ones that make the laws. Now, there are Article 2 powers that are gifted to the President of the United States. There are things that the president can do on their own authority. However, a lot of those landmark programs, big federal programs, big pieces of legislation that we've seen across American history that have changed lives have come because the President of the United States is working alongside the House and also the Senate. So right now, Kamala Harris wants a unified government that's unified Democratic, and Donald Trump wants a unified government that is unified and Republican.
Does it change the mood at all for whoever the victor is, depending on how close these margins are? If you have a very tight race in both parties of Congress, I mean, what does that tee up for the victor?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm reminded of the 2020 election cycle, and Democrats were quite excited because Joe Biden had beat the incumbent Donald Trump. However, if you looked at the composition of the Senate, it was 50-50, right? So technically unified government. The Democrats controlled the White House, they controlled the House of Reps. But because it was 50-50 in the Senate, you saw a lot of concessions that had to be made, right? So more right-leaning or centrist Democratic senators like Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema, oftentimes the Biden administration had to make deals with them, right? They had to try to build consensus when the Senate was that closely divided. Now, right now, it looks like many Republican candidates in the Senate are doing quite well. I think that this is where the RNC was most optimistic. They thought that they had a higher likelihood of winning the Senate than even winning the White House or the House of Representatives. There's still a lot of ballots to be counted, but as of now, I think the Republicans are still quite rosy about their chances in the Senate.
All right, Professor, thank you for that insight.